What up, people? You already know Big Lou, the Latin assassin himself, tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou and FZR2, baby. So not only the hat trick, I'm tripling up, right? Need to get the content back up and firing at all cylinders like I was at one point. Now, some of you guys see the thumbnail. Some of you guys might know who those folks are. Some of you guys might not. So quick little rundown. So on the left hand side, the black dude is Whack 100. He is a he's involved with the music industry, ex convict. Um, I believe he's with not Bad Boy. Excuse me. He's with oh man, I can't even think of the dudes. With Little Wayne and Birdman and them, whatever their label is, I can't think of it right now. But he's the West Coast, I believe. He has a lot of artists up underneath him, but he's always in the always in the tabs, always controversy around this dude, right? The other guy on the right hand side is a YouTuber named American Cholo. Um, I've had many conversations, a few conversations, not many, a few conversations. It's been a while since I spoke to him, but nonetheless, you know, like I said, Whack 100 is always in the media. He's always in the tabloids. As far as the social media scene, always going at it with people. Man, I mean, the list goes on and on. He's went at people with. Um, he's an ex-con, but he don't carry him. In my opinion, he don't carry himself as ex-con, and he doesn't. And some of the way he speaks is very loose lip. Um, and I'm not when I say loose lip, I'm not referring to ratting because that old saying, loose lips sink ship, which is definitely true. But that's not what I mean when I say loose lip. Let's make that clear. When I say loose lip, I mean he's just very careless with his words. Um, you know what I mean? So with Jay Diggs, he was saying that he was a fag, that he had a husband in the pen with a mustache, that his mama fuck his mama, he's a child molester, just all way out shit, man. That convicts don't talk like. And the weird part about it is that Jay Diggs never disrespected that man. Jay Diggs, matter of fact, even said that he was a smart dude, that he would get to the bottom of whatever that issue was when Jay Diggs was speaking about a situation of an artist that's with, I believe the artist was signed to Whack 100, or it was an artist that was doing some collabing with an artist that was under Whack 100. I'm not really sure the word the tie was with Whack and the guy that they were speaking about, and it had to do with something with some debriefing paperwork. So he never disrespected that man for him to come at him like that. You know what I'm saying? And then some of the other beefs he's been with is just whack, way out shit. A lot of it has to do with race stuff. It's always them against us type shit when it should be black and brown together. You know what I mean? In my opinion. And then too, when you say brown, that's so many different nationalities, right? They all speak the same language. Their mother tongue. Well, let me take that back. The mother tongue is whatever natives that were there, whatever they speak. But as far as Spanish, and in my opinion too, Spanish is a slave language. It was forced upon the Native Americans that were there, the indigenous peoples. If it's Puerto Rico, Dominican Hispaniola, which is Dominican and Haiti. If it's Cuba, Mexico, Venezuela, El Salvador, wherever it is, there were natives there prior to the Spaniards, Portuguese, Italians, Irish, Scottish, English landing there, right? Um, so, the language, the religion was forced on to these indigenous people that were already there. I'm not speaking about that right now, but Spanish has been around for a long time in these countries. Dating back, 1492 when they landed in Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, which they call Hispaniola, and then in the history it spoke about Mexico, Central America, in about 1520s, right? So you're talking over what 500 years ago. So Spanish has been around, been a part of our culture, been a part of our motherlands. No matter uh, which one of those Latin American countries your family come from, and a lot of times you'll have a mother that's from one place and a father from another place. Such as a mother from Puerto Rico and a father from Cuba, or a mother from Cuba and a father from Dominican Republic, or a father that's Mexican, a mother that's Salvadorian. so on and so forth, right? So you get a little bit of both that way. Nonetheless, though, when people refer to us as Mexicans, when that statement's said, a lot of times they're bunching us all up as Mexicans because they're ignorant people and they're not too bright, and they think that Puerto Rican is just a different kind of Mexican, or a Salvadorian is a different type of Mexican. Especially when you hear them say, "Do you speak Mexican? Do you speak Salvadorian? Do you speak Puerto Rican?" That's ignorant, right? But nonetheless, so a lot of times when people speak up, um, even if they're not of Mexican descent, especially being from California or Texas or Arizona or New Mexico or Colorado or Utah or Nevada, you're going to be, even if you're from a different uh, Latin Latin American background, nationality, bloodline, whatever, however you want to state it, you still are raised around Mexicans, right? Probably a lot of times your kids will be Mexican, right? Like mine's. So me being what I am and being raised around and what am, I'm perfectly. Uh, and the reason I'm saying this is because one time I came onto a podcast. I was shot the link. I didn't know what the show was even about or anything. I just tapped it, and I thought maybe it might have been a show that was already uploaded, and I was sent the link to watch it. So when I tap the link, I go automatically into a live stream, and there's an old school rapper that's been around about 30, 31 years who started off rapping, but he also was a producer all along, and he was up on the screen. Well, later on, somebody um, commented in the section that, well, why, they told the person whose channel is, well, why do you have a Rican up there speaking about Mexican stuff? And it's like, well, first of all, and I'm going to say it just like this. First of all, dummy, uh, you shouldn't be speaking first if you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, because meaning this, I'm from Northern California, right? Everybody knows that I've done a lot of time in the pen, and I am categorized as being Mexican, right? Because I'm from Northern California. And so that's just the way they do it. If you're from Southern California or Northern California, you'll be down at, sometimes it'll say Northern or Southern Hispanic or Latino. But then sometimes it'll just say MEX as Mexican. Or if you're down as a Bulldog, or if you're down as a Mexican, a national border, what they call border brothers, stuff like that. Even though that's a different thing than what really Mexican national is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get all into that either. Everybody knows I try to stay away from the politics, like, to the core, though. You know what I'm saying? I'll say general stuff, but I won't break it down into groups or organizations or any of that type of stuff, or the real intricacies, how things work. Um, that's just me. That's how I roll, But if you know anything about California, especially Northern California, race is never looked at as being a Northern Latino uh, as a group. You know, um, race is never looked at. You got blacks, you got whites, you got other Latinos, you got Filipinos, you got some Portuguese. Even though I consider Portuguese Latino, um, I consider Filipino Latino too, to a certain degree. Depends. It kind of depends on that one, but you know, um, you know, um, by that dude making that comment, my kids are all Mexican, so their grandparents are from Mexico. My kids love their grandparents. I love my kids, and then I got to know their grandparents, and I have love them too. So when you're speaking about something that hurts my kids because their grandparents are, that happens pertain to their grandparents, and I'm not saying I'll take it personal, but I'll speak on it. And I'm, like I said, I'm more than qualified to speak on stuff like that, especially from on these streets of Northern California. You know what I'm saying? People, and I spoke to another content creator, and once, I don't understand it, but once he found out I was Puerto Rican, he kind of like didn't believe me. I don't understand it. I don't really get it. I did get a little offended by it because I'm not saying nothing outlandish, like nothing that's not believable. I'm not saying anything like just like, I'm not putting a 10 on a 2 on anything. I'm being legit, honest about who I am, what I was doing, stuff like that. But it wasn't even, I didn't even get to all that. It was just the fact that I'm Puerto Rican, that for some reason he didn't believe, thinking that we have a place here or something. I don't understand. And I tried to explain to him a little bit about some of the history, about who was what and why certain things were changed. Um, And I took it a little offensive, like I said, and then to see bring a white guy on and let a white guy speak about it, I just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't, and I'm not racist. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I love all people. I want to see all people succeed. I was just taken aback by it because here I am, even though I'm still Latin descent. We still speak Spanish. Uh, very the Puerto Rican Mexican culture, as far as the urban culture and the culture that we evolved to in the United States is very similar. It's very very similar. And most people are more similar than different, anyways. But I just took it weird that when you would take and it's just me. This is me saying this. That you would bring somebody that's a white dude and ran with the same people I ran with, but you take his word for something. And when it's like you need to look into those things first before you just make a decision like that. And then again, I could just be totally wrong on how I felt, but I did take it offensive. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna get into who it was. That's not important. You know what I'm saying? None of that's important. But nonetheless, um, like I said, I'm more than qualified to speak on that stuff, right? Um, but you know, uh, the thing here with this situation here is, you got people that speak on things. They talk out the side of their neck, and this dude's got money, Whack, and he still talks out the side of his neck, says ridiculous stuff constantly. He's all, like I said, he's always in the tabloids, always in the social media thing. Then he has the nerve to clown people when they bring up somebody to him, and he's like, "Well, who's that? Oh, he's a YouTuber. Oh, YouTuber. Well, what do you mean, motherfucker? This is like where you get your glory and most of your fame from. Because a lot of people don't know, unless they watch TMZ a lot, they don't know who you are like that. They don't know a lot of the behind the scenes people that if you're not out there producing, if you're not out there rapping, or part of the crew where you're always up in front of the cameras, or if you're a P Diddy, then remember Suge Knight said, if you want to come somewhere where your producer's not all up in the video and blah blah blah, right? So a lot of people don't know who this dude is, but because of social media, he's well known. So when he says YouTuber, and he kind of like it just doesn't. It shows you right there where his mentality is. It's like very not intelligent for being in the position he is and the stuff he's accomplished. It doesn't pan out, right? But it is what it is. So that tells me that he makes the choice to conduct himself and carry himself in that manner. You know what I'm saying? Um, so some of these things have been happening, especially down there in the LA area, and well, not all just LA, because I think some things happen in Fresno, some things happen in Nevada, and I think maybe something happened in Sacramento too. You got people attacking these street vendors, and these street vendors are people that came over here looking for a better life, and they're starting from the bottom, on jobs, and they're working their way up. But they're trying to support their family and do it the right way. They're not selling dope. They're not you know going out there and collecting a collector. No matter if they're male or female. I'm just just saying it. Believe it or not, there's a lot of things women do behind the scenes in the criminal world. You know what I'm saying? On so many different levels, and I'm not going to get into any of that because I'm not the type of dude, like I spoke earlier about. I don't speak about active stuff, and in my opinion, a lot of this stuff that is active still going on with women doing things. Anyways, I think it's chicken shit to go and a lot of times these vendors are like they're women, or they're little people, they're smaller people in stature, and it's just being a bully. You know what I'm saying? It's just being a bully, going over there smacking somebody, kicking over their cart. I mean, what are you getting out of that? At the end of the day, what are you getting out of that? You know what I mean? So, anyways, you got this guy, Whack 100. He comes on, he makes comments about things, and I'm gonna say this just like this, and I'm not saying this to insult nobody. I'm just keeping it real on how it looks to me, in my opinion. But a lot of times you'll have people come out here and they'll say, "Well, why is a Latino person speaking on black stuff, on black issues?" Which I can agree with that, right? Like I almost said something earlier and I stopped because it's not. I said something about it's not my place to speak about it. I think it was in the Jim Brown video, might have been. That which I dropped a little bit ago. R.I.P. Jim Brown, a legend, NFL football legend on the field and off the field. But I just did a video on him, and I also just did a video on Devin Haney. My reaction to him shoving Lomachenko the way he did, and they're fighting tonight. And I said basically, you're your let your hands do the talking, in the ring, your skill set, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have never pushed them like that. Anyways, nonetheless, so you'll hear a lot of that. Well, why is they speaking on this? It's none of their concern. It's not even their people's. True, but that goes the other way around too. You know what I'm saying? That goes the other way around too. Now, from my understanding, they made a comment. A comment was made, and it wasn't by Whack, but Whack was on the platform along with this other cat. I can't even think of his name right now. I don't know his name, to be honest. And what I meant was I couldn't think of his name. Is I don't even I don't got the slightest idea. But from my understanding, the dude might have been Latino or Mexican. I'm not sure. But they made a comment about Crip Mac's old lady or his partner, his manager. I can't think of her name either right now. But she's a Mexican girl. I don't know if she's Chicana or she's from here, Mexican American girl, or she's born over there maybe and came here. I don't even know. She might not even be Mexican. She might just, but she's Latina definitely. And she's always in the Crip Mac videos. So I don't know if that's his old lady or his manager or just his friend, whatever. Nonetheless, none of my business. But they made this comment and said something about wetback or something like that. Now, you know, they came out saying, well, she's from a black gang. What difference does that make? That don't make no difference. We're not in the joint. Now, we're in the joint and you happen to be black and you run with the northern Latinos and you happen to walk by and you hear somebody say the N-word talking about somebody else, they ain't none of your business. That does not pertain to you. So in that sense, I get what Wack's saying, but we're not in the joint. And the way he carried himself, he would have been whacked many times over already. I'll just be real with you, especially when I'm fucking with my peoples or even the South. Um, I don't know the blacks' politics fully. I know some of it because they're allied with us very strong. And him being a blood, they're a little bit more a Pyru or blood or brim. They're a lot more structured as far as just they're a little more structured. They're more structured, and I want to say the Crips are a little more lenient with their peoples. Um, Nothing wrong with neither one of those, but I'm just saying that's from what I know from all the years I've done. Now, when you get with the organizations, the couple of different black organizations, that's different, and I'm not going to even speak on those, but they carry themselves way more, especially the older one. They conduct and carry themselves way more like another organization, and I just leave it at that. Um, and I know their functionalities are way more better. Um, but anyways, certain things, even if it didn't necessarily come out of your mouth, sometimes, if you're running, running a platform or something, sometimes, yeah, you can't help what people say, but you can sure enough speak on it after it's said and let them know and let it be known that, hey, you know what, that's not my beliefs. I don't condone that type of talk. I don't, you know, uh, just let it be known that anything that's said doesn't necessarily 100% reflect on the channel or the owners of the channel or some put some type of disclaimer out. But then you just roll with it, and then you make this lame ass excuse that, oh, well, she's from a black gang. Um, it's just I don't understand. Like I said, the dude is loose with his lips. He talks a lot of nonsense. Again, he wasn't the one that said that, but he should have spoke up. Just like when certain things were being said about a certain individual from Northern California that had real strong ties with the Latino community, and he worked on some big projects. He felt that another certain Latino individual that's behind his own record label and different things, digital marketing, should have spoke up on his behalf, which he has a good point. But you never know when that person's getting that information or they know that what's happening. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will hear things and then pass it down the line to whoever it's being referred to or spoken about. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes it takes a day or two. Sometimes, so oh boy, in that sense, he got a little heated because the message, what he was saying, didn't get to the person he wanted it to get to. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Maybe the dude just decided not to speak on it. Maybe he didn't get the information yet. I don't know, but at some point, like I said, this dude Whack should have said something on that, and and so when you don't, it looks like that's how you believe and that's how you feel about people. You know what I'm saying? That fall under that certain category, if you want to say it that way. You know what I mean? But the fact is that this dude is in the position he is with, you know, as as being in the showbiz, you know what I mean, as far as being in the business, the entertainment business, and he does have a big following, you know what I'm saying? And that was another thing, you know, this American Cholo said something about he had spoke to some guys, and I didn't hear him say that they were from his neighborhood, but I heard him saying that he had spoke to some other blacks, and they don't approve of how he talks, or you know, his get down. And right away, this dude said, "Oh, I can go in my hood whenever." And like I said, I didn't hear American Cholo say he spoke to dudes from his hood. I know an OG from a real OG with a lot of respect that's from his neighborhood, and I'm not gonna say who he is. I did time with him. Uh, you know, and right away, Wac's like, "Well, who? Say the names. Drop the names. And if you don't, use a B and use a like, come, whoa, drop the names." I mean, come on, man. If he was gonna drop the name, if American Cholo was gonna drop names, he would have said them when he was saying what he said. You know, and he said it in general terms. He didn't say like, "Oh, this one dude said this, and this dude said that, and this dude said this." He just said a lot of dudes say they don't dig what he says. They don't like his get down. I mean, that's as bland and as general as you can be, right? But no, you know, he's like, drop the names, and if you don't, you're a B, and you're a sucker. Like, come on, man, who does that? Come on, man. It's like you're taking it from 0 to 60 like that when you start saying men are B's. You know, I don't. You say a man's a bitch, like, dude, you need to make sure you're in front of that dude. Um, when you're calling him that, let him get with that program, man. You know, how you gonna call some dude that and they're not even there, and then you're not even gonna see the dude? That's like chicken shit, man. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying? You call a grown man a bitch or a punk, and you're not letting them get with you. Like, you shouldn't even be speaking that. There's other ways if you don't like an individual for you to talk shit about an individual without having to go there, because anybody knows, especially a convict, those are fighting words, and it could escalate to something worse. God forbid, right? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very big on that. I don't call men bitches or punks. I'm highly against that. And if you're gonna call them that, you already know that they gotta be there in front of you or somewhere near to get with it. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't get with you, then, and especially being in front of you, then okay, then what you're saying is more fits the script. And you know, unless there's some reason that's blocking them from handling their business, like maybe their kids, they got their kids in their custody, you know, with them, and not another parent or whoever knows what it might be. But this is one that I, you know, somebody said, "Oh, you're a bitch," and then, no, matter of fact, you know, motherfucker, you the bitch. And a lot of times those dudes won't even. A lot of times when they call you a bitch and he say, you know what, motherfucker, you're a bitch. Yeah, you're a punk, motherfucker. Nah, you're the punk. And they won't step to you. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a trip, man. Not, especially nowadays, man. I was having a little conversation with somebody yesterday, and I was like, you know, nowadays, man, these motherfuckers, they'll come off tough and all that. They'll act tough. They'll say tough guy shit. But when you step to them and smack them or punch them, you know, they can't get to that phone quick enough to dial 911. You know what I'm saying? It's a trip, man. This is how this shit's changed. Very soft society nowadays. Even when it comes to these dogs, these American bullies. You know what I'm saying? There's Daisy there, and I don't know, Champs. Oh, Champs behind me. I moved him over here. We're just kicking in the shade. But even when it comes to these American bullies, they're not like the old school pit bulls, the American pit bull terriers or Staffordshire terriers. You know, I mean, these guys are so sensitive. Like, even switching their foods, you can't just go from feeding them one dog food the next day and feeding them to another dog food. You gotta slowly integrate them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start with, you know, you have the old food, 70% of the old food, mixing it with 30% of the new food for a couple of days, and then go half and half for a couple of days, and then go 30 of the old food, 70 of the new food. And then by the time you're finally giving them just the new food, it's like 8, 9 days into it. You know, back in the day, you just switch foods and boom. You know what I'm saying? There was no problems. You know, these guys got diarrhea, all kinds of stuff. So that's what we're going through now. But like, even back in the day, you couldn't put two males together. You know what I'm saying? Two full intact males, fully grown, fully mature males, it'd be a problem. Two females, two grown females, putting them together, it was a problem. It'd be a problem. Now you can put them 10 dogs together. It could be 3, 4 males as long as none of the females are in heat, and they'll for the most part get along. You know what I'm saying? Um, Unless they're just two like dominant males, alpha males, then you're gonna have a problem. So yesterday we had a little issue with Big May and Sachi. Sachi's the dog, the house, my cousins where I keep all the dogs at, not Champ and Daisy, they're with me, but all the other ones, Baton, Red, Sombra, um, and May, right? Those four. Um, Sachi's the dog, the original dog. That's their pet dog. It's their son's dog, but he can't have animals where he's at, so that's why she's there. But as soon as they move to a house, they're gonna take her. But anyways, she's small too. She's a small. She was supposed to be an XL. This is when just before they got her. She got pregnant at like 6 months old, and they believe it stunned her growth, which I believe so too, because she's only like a standard now. She's like 17 and a half inches tall, maybe something like that. So it stunned her growth, and then they got her while she was pregnant, and then or just after she had the puppies. I don't remember exactly how that went, but anyways, Big May is 21 and a half inches tall, 21 and a quarter or 21 and a third. Um, she's like yeah. So anyways, 100, 26, 27-inch head, 140 pounds. I don't know what happened. They end up fighting. Sachi being small, she ended up getting the better of May. A little bit of blood, not real bad. But then my little cousin tries to break him up, and he gets bit. And, he takes a tooth to the finger, to the thumb, I think it was. Not real deep, but enough, and it bled. And he was like, And I told him, I said, you don't never put your hands down there like that, because that fast, they could turn and boom, the teeth, catch you. You know what I'm saying? The best way to do it is putting the leash on, and even that's dangerous because if the leash is not already on, and then lift up, and that'll cut off their oxygen, and eventually they'll let go. Sometimes the water hose works. It depends. Or the water hose worked yesterday with those two dogs because they don't like the water. But a dog like Champ, who's not scared of the water, or Daisy, they like the water. That's not going to work with them unless you shove it somehow down their throat, the water. But even then, but anyways, it can turn ugly real fast. So you got to stay on top of things. That's why I always say, stay on point, like Stacey Adams with your dogs. Stay on top of it. I never feed these guys without supervising them right then and there. And I kind of told you guys why, because they get different. At one point, Daisy was heavier, so she was getting an extra wafer, vitamins, and then an extra pump of the Alaskan oil. But now, because he's over 50 now, it's that 50 to 70 pounds, 50 to 75 pounds. They get the same amount now, so I don't really have to watch them as much. But they don't get they've been together so long, they don't get like that. Nowadays, he's starting to snap at him and get a little aggressive with him because she's in heat, and he's and most of the time he's just playing with her, jumping around. He's not trying to mount her. And she snaps on him. You know what I mean? So she's still real swollen right now. I'm gonna show you guys how swollen she is. She's very swollen, and you could tell that she don't like it, but her thing's sticking out. You guys see that? That thing's sticking out, boy, like a monkey. Another dog running out from the back. So she's not bleeding, or she's still bleeding a little bit, but she should start coming down off of that. But she's only 9 months old, so she's definitely too young to breed. We're not breeding her yet. She's 9 months, and that was her first heat. She's about 9 months. Actually, today's what, the 20th? So she's almost 9.5 months old. So if it's every 9 months she's going to get a heat, we might be able to do it the next one. But if not, we want her to be at least 20 months old. Like I said, if she has a 9 months between the next one, then we'll probably go with that one. And she'll be about 19 months old by then. So 19, 18 and a half, 19 months. She's pretty mature now, what I mean? In my opinion, but not mature enough to have babies, not this young. Not to mention the registry won't even recognize the puppies anyways. I think the mother has to be 18 months old. The father has to, if you use a male to stud out a male, the male has to be 12 months, I believe, if I'm correct about that, which is good. There got to be some type of guidelines, because otherwise a lot of these people will they'll make the dogs 7 months old. You know what I mean? The females. The males, I'm not really sure if that's when 10 months, 9 months, 10 months is when their sperm actually works and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. But I remember our neighbor's dog got the female pregnant at 9 months old. And it all worked out good for them for that happening that way. I'm not going to get into the story. It's too long. But basically, the short part of it is the female they bought, she was a retired police dog. And the reason they sold her was because she couldn't get pregnant. And so they ended up buying another pup. She was full grown, retired from the police department or the sheriff's office. I don't remember what she was employed with, but they ended up buying another male maybe 2 months after they got her. He was a puppy, or small puppy, and then he ended up getting her pregnant at 9 months old. So because he was still not fully mature, he didn't develop. He wasn't all the way developed in growth. So his penis was able to get in there. because I guess what they said was her thing was real small, the opening, something. I don't remember exactly how it went. That's why I'm saying it's a long story. I'll just keep it like that. And so when they found out she was pregnant, the people that sold her wanted her back, and they said, "Nah, we're good. We're keeping her." Um, anyways, so I'm not sure when exactly are they mature enough to actually put their seed, to that their semen works. You know what I mean? Because Red is 8 months old in a couple of days. On the 23rd, he'll be 8 months old. And so I'm just curious. You know what I mean? I'm just curious. I was just curious about that. Matter of fact, I might look that up. And then we got Champ, who's 5 months old today. And he's turning out good. He's starting to get a little thicker now. He's 20 inches tall with the 18 and a half inch head. He's got like a 16-inch neck, and he's about 56 pounds. So he's already the height of his dad at 5 months old today, 20 inches tall. So, like I always said, I've been saying at the beginning, B&B's Valkyrie is the game changer. She's been bred with 4 different males. No matter who she's bred with, her sons come out tall and big. And there ain't going to be no difference with this guy here. So, like I said, my predictions for him at full maturity was going to be 25, 26 inches tall. Like I said, he's just turned 5 months today, and he's already 20 inches tall. He's only like this much behind Big May. Yeah, and he's as tall as her. He's back and back with Uncle Vuitton, great Uncle Vuitton. Big May, he's a little bit shorter, and then Red, obviously, is 3.5 inches taller. Big Red is 23.5 inches tall, and he's only almost 8 months in a couple of days. So between Red and Champ, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up being the taller boy, and who's bigger. I think. Well, actually, I don't know because Big Red is not about 90 pounds right now. I fattened him up a little bit. I got Vuitton a little bit fattened up, from when we first got him, because where he came from, there was like 3 females in heat. Then he gets here. Daisy was in heat, or is in heat, was just starting, and then Sombra we thought was in heat, but I never seen her swell up, because when I originally picked her up that Saturday, she was sitting against the fence, and we seen some blood on her paw. But so I don't know what happened. And then for a few days there, she wasn't feeling good. She wasn't eating. I think she might have ate something bad, like a fig or something. Um, I'm wondering if maybe her being sick like that, if it could have knocked off the heat, knocked it up off, threw it out of whack. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure about that. But she was that was a Saturday. Next Saturday was a week, right? That was 7 days. And then I waited 2 more days, and actually a day, and then between day 9 and day, because today makes day 14. So between day 9 and 12, I was putting her with the boy Vatan every day, and not once did he even attempt to mount her. So I don't know. I don't know if we missed it or if she never was in heat. Maybe that blood was from something else. Or when she got sick, if it threw a wrench in the, you know, it just threw her off whack. I don't know. But we're hoping to take Vuitton to her. He's a lilac tri Merle, and She's black, strong Ellis blood with. She has a white chest with some ticking. Vuitton has about a 26-inch head. She's got because Daisy's at 22. Hers is about Daisy's size, but she's got a little bit longer snout. So I think she's about 22, 23-inch head. Um, at full weight, she's about 85, 90 pounds. He's about 120. He's very athletic though. He's not real tall, but he's got that. He's kind of bullyish. He's about 20 and a half inches tall, 120 pounds, 26-inch head. He's pretty thick. He's got some muscle on him. I was thinking about when Daisy, if I do breed Daisy, maybe taking him to Daisy because they're more compatible as far as the look, the more stockier, short look. Because originally I got Champ to breed to Daisy, but now Champ is going to be, it's clear because Daisy's not going to grow much taller. Um, Her mother and May are about the same height, 21 inches. They're not real tall, but they're thick females. Especially May. She's real thick. She's boned up. Her rear end's real thick, bigger than her brother Vuitton, littermate brother. Um, and so Champ's gonna be like 25, 26 inches tall. So Daisy right now is 19, and like she's like about 19 and a quarter, I think it was. May's like 20, a little over 21. And then her mom, I want to say, is about the same. And then her uncle Vuitton's 20 and a half inches. So and I've said this all along, I thought she was going to be 90 to 110 pounds. Right now, she's about 75 pounds, 9 months old. Um, she was going to be 20 to 21 inches tall. I'm still thinking that 20, 20 and a half. I could see her growing another, another half an inch to 3/4. No, excuse me, 3/4 of an inch to an inch, easy, right? In the next 4 or 5 months, and then tapping out on that. You know what I'm saying? And then the rest will just put weight on. So I could see her putting 9.5 months old. I could see her putting on 15 pounds easy, and maturing out. Um, so but this guy, he's gonna be a double XL. 20. He's already, like I said, he's already 20 inches tall now, same height as his dad at 5 months old today. Um, so I predicted, because both his parents have 26-inch heads, so he's gonna have at least a 26-inch head, right? You would think, but I think his is more gonna be 27, 28 and his dad has a thick neck, 26-inch neck, just like his head. So I think he's gonna have like a 24-inch neck. I believe, like I said, 25 to 26 inches tall, with about a 24-inch neck, 27, 28 inches on the head, I believe. And then the weight wise, I got a pretty big gap there. I'm saying anywhere between 120 and 160. Right now, he was, when I took him to get his rabies, he was 52 pounds, actually 51.8. I rounded to 52. But he's even put some more weight on since then. I weighed him the other day, holding him I weighed myself, and then I weighed him on the scale, and he was 56. So he's already put a little bit of weight on, and he's starting to look thicker in certain areas. So definitely good, because he's been in that lanky stage. But um, this boy, even though he's in that lanky stage, he's boned up. Like his legs are thick. He's got big paws. You know what I mean? He's gonna be a big boy. He's gonna be, like I said, 120 to 160. I don't know where at. I'm thinking 130, 30, 140 ish. Um, as of right now, he's he's athletic. He likes to run. He chases the flirt pole. He fetches. He plays with Daisy. You know what I mean? He's pretty active. Pretty. He's not a couch potato. Now Big May's more of a couch potato. You know what I'm saying? She just lays around. A few times where she's been walked and she'll just lay down and refuse to move. So like I said this too. Daisy was a little bit like that when I was at first. I would play fetch with her, and she would bring me back whatever it was, maybe 5 times, maybe 10 on a good day. But then a lot of times I'll throw it, and she just look at it and look at me and be like, "F you," But then now since Champ joined, immediately like that, Daisy got active. You know what I'm saying? She got active. So I'm definitely grateful for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tap out on this. This and a video ended up being a lot longer than I expected, and I kind of went off point here towards the end talking about the dogs. But I think I made my points about Whack 100 and his loose lips and the dumb shit that he says. And then American Cholo, he's just defending people. Certain things he hears. You know what I'm saying? He's participated in little interactions with others, and he's countered different things that were said and questioned people about, why'd you say this? What was the purpose of that? What was the meaning by this? Which a good interviewer, journalist should do, right? Not basically let the person run the interview or the interaction. And these questions are off limits. Don't ask me nothing about that, this or that. Basically dictating. That's not how it usually goes. But a lot of times with some of these guys, they won't even talk with you if you don't stay with their script. You know what I'm saying? What they tell you to be off limits, what is okay to ask, you know, and that's just the way it is, and some people don't, a lot of people don't dig it, which I understand, but then you got to put yourself in that person's shoes that's conducting the interaction or the interview, and you have to kind of like, figure out what's going on with them too, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't do that. They just want to attack them, you know, and it's a trip. But anyways, you know, there's some things too American Cholo says and does that I don't agree with. Just like with most people, you're not gonna agree with everybody all the time and co-sign and dig with everything they do and say. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? That's not being realistic. That's not real life. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. But That's what people need to understand, because you always hear people make that comment, like I kind of mentioned earlier about with me. Oh, well, he's not Mexican. Why is he speaking on things? Don't throw that shit at him a lot too. Oh, well, he's Honduran. Da, da, da. Knowing damn well that he was raised in North Hollywood with Mexicans, and mostly Mexicans and some other Central Americans. But people are ignorant. People are ignorant. Like they're just ignorant, and a lot of them love this drama shit. It fires them up and keeps them going every day. To get up, tap into YouTube, see what the new drama is, and then none of that from there, and push the fucking false narratives and the bullshit and stir the pot and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that are with that bullshit. You know, um, just like there's so many people that are with the bullshit of being behind the scenes and rallying the troops behind the scenes for the wrong reasons, and then expect that at the end of the day that all you motherfuckers that are doing that shiesty shit behind the scenes are all gonna be cool all the time forever from here on out. When Come on, man, if you're shady and shiesty and a janky mofo, it's gonna come out with other shiesty janky motherfuckers too. You know what I'm saying? And that seems to be the issue on some people too. I stepped back from a lot of channels and stopped watching it because I got tired of hearing the same old threatening shit and telling another man to suck this and suck that, and and that and different, and this is different genres. But it's just at the end of the day, it's a lot of drama and across the board on so many genres too. That I'm cool, man. I'm not. I don't want to hear another man tell another man suck my, and all the threats about I'll kick your ass and this and that. But yet, not a punch has been thrown. Not a punch has been thrown. Let alone a slap being landed. You know what I'm saying? But they're all pull up, motherfucker, pull up, pull up, pull up. It's all whack, all no pun intended, BS all the way around. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is too is that you can't come on here, and this is happening to a lot of people. They come on here and they spew the bullshit lies about themselves and things they're involved with and who they know and stuff like that, and then they end up making a mark for themselves. But then they done lied so much they can't even keep up and remember what they said. So there they go contradicting themselves, and people will call you out on that shit. You know what I'm saying? So there's no need to lie about who you are. You know what I'm saying? Period. I don't come on here lying about. I talking about I'm this tough ass motherfucker. Yeah, the people say shit and I get upset about it and want to kick somebody's ass or try to. Damn right, but I'm not the toughest motherfucker there is. You know, and unfortunately, that takes people to do things, in a drastic measure, in a drastic way, that jeopardizes their freedom. You know what I'm saying? And like what I said earlier about people being always tough and saying tough guy shit, and then when you smack them or punch them, there they are hitting. They can't hit 911 fast enough. You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit. It's the same shit. You got to know it's dangerous now because so many people will take you out of character and bring the old you out if that's the case. Where here you are, turn your life around, but they'll fuck with you so much that you damn near revert back to your old ways, or some people do. And then now your freedom's gone. You're locked up doing a long time, or it could be worse, God forbid. And now your kids ain't got their dad, your grandkids ain't got grandpa, papa, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And unfortunately, people get a kick out of that shit. It's just sick ass people, man. And then they try to act like they're righteous and all that, but yet they're doing these janky things behind the scenes and saying despicable shit as other people or themselves, and then they'll deny it, and it's just it's somewhat of a disaster, cancerous shit. This platform, you know what I'm saying? It can be. I don't let it get to me like that, and I'm not on here spewing bullshit either, right? And saying this and that, and attacking people and people's families and making stupid, despicable, disgusting comments about people's loved ones and stuff like that, past, present, or anything. Um, and I try to stay in my own lane. You know what I'm saying? The message is there. Put the message out for the youngsters, the kids, the youngsters, the young men, and just pretty much anybody. Because like I said, the light bulb didn't go off for me till I was 38, 39. And what I mean by light bulb is doing things that you normally wouldn't do that's out of your comfort zone. Because there's that old saying, how do you expect something different if you keep doing the same old shit? That's insanity, right? And so that's what I did all these years. Try to do it my way. My way don't work. So this last time I got out, I did things I'd never done before, and July will make 6 years I've been out. So you got to do things like that. You just got to. If not, you'll still continue to make the same dumb old mistakes that you've always made. And eventually it becomes too late because of the hole you dug yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now that could mean death because of your activities. That could mean on so many different levels, medical or being in the streets playing with fire. Usually you get burnt, right? In other words, you carry guns, play gunplay. You usually die by the gun. You know, die, live by the sword, die by the sword, basically. Um, and all those different aspects. So I always say this too. Well, I don't always say this, but I've said this many times, and I need to say it more. If you're a convict, ex-con, and you think you have the ear of the youngsters in your family or your little neighborhood, get at them. Let them know. Talk to them. You could be a homie, all that stuff. You could believe in all that you want, but keep in mind that at the end of the day, nobody's gonna give a fuck about you when you're locked up, but your family. All the homeboys ain't gonna. Now, don't get me wrong. You might have a homeboy or two here and there that will look out, and drop you some money and go check on your mom or call your parents or your kids in passing. You know, there are a few homies like that, good homeboys, but for the most part, no. They're looking to get in and pretend to be um, concerned, but they're really got a different agenda. You know what I'm saying? You could probably understand what I mean by that. But anyways, um, talk to your kids, talk to your nephews and nieces, talk to your little cousins, the kids in your neighborhood, family, friends, kids. Get the message out there that, hey, you know what? Don't look up to me because I've been in the prison. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. You're not your own man no more. Nobody, no more. You're gonna mind somebody. You're gonna have rules from the CDC, the California Department of Corrections, and within your own peoples. Your internal politic and your own internal rules, and it's not cracked up. It's not what it's cracked up to be. That's for sure, on all levels, right? Now I heard this question asked the other day. They asked somebody on a live stream, "Hey, is there anything that a young man could learn from prison that's good?" And there is. While you're there, you're going to learn some discipline. You're going to learn to mind somebody. You're going to learn to do things in a timely fashion. You're going to learn to be structured. Um, everything's structured. Everything's by a schedule. You know, you'll learn all that type of stuff. You might learn a trade, a skill when you're in there. In the Voc. You know what I'm saying? And then too, within depending who you run with, you will learn a little something with them too, that will help out in your real life. But um, but the big broad scale of things, when you look at it with your peoples, no, what they're going to teach you is how to keep yourself there longer. You know what I mean? So there is some good, there is some learning that you can get in there. You know what I'm saying? But I still wouldn't suggest somebody go check it out. Hey, go check it out. Nah, hell no. Check out them books and finish all that up because that will help you in the long run. You know what I mean? Why be the 40-year-old dude that's doing it now at 40 because he got released from prison after getting a life sentence, or he did a long stretch, when you could be doing that shit at a young age, getting everything and all your ducks in line, all your chickens in one basket, or your eggs in one basket, excuse me, and that way you're prepared for what comes at you next. Not you having a baby at 16 and another one at 18, and then you're struggling. You're struggling if you're the female with the kids, or if you're the dad, you're struggling um, because you're being pressured by the government. The mother, the kids, excuse me, the mother's family, because they're tired of keeping up and helping out all the time about everything, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to be prepared as things come instead of things coming and then you're trying to catch up. If that makes sense to everybody, hopefully it does. But put the message out there. Talk to the kids. That's it's important. It's our future. You know what I mean? So with that being said, Big Lou, Daisy Queen, aka Daisy La Sula, and Campeón del Mundo, aka Champ, tapping on out. Be safe. Always know your surroundings. Like I always say, when you get in that car, lock your doors immediately. If you get a gut feeling about something ain't right, you feel some type of vibe, get up out of there. Don't drive, don't drink and drive. Make sure you got your Uber account set up or your Lyft account set up. Call that taxi if you have to. If you can, have a designated driver from the beginning. And then if you have to, very, very have to, last resort, walk. Do not get behind that wheel. It's not worth catching a vehicle or manslaughter or something like that when you could have just, uh, walked, and because shit can happen. I don't care if your house is only 2-3 blocks from the place. You don't have to take my word for it. Go to State Awake TV and hear Styx's story. So have a good, blessed, positive, productive remainder of your weekend, peoples. Fight night tonight for the undisputed. Lomachenko is challenging Vasily Lomachenko of Ukraine is challenging the American undisputed WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, Ring Magazine champ, and Lineal champ, Devin the Dream Haney. Gone.